Living with a narcissistic partner feels like being trapped in a silent prison. On the surface, everything may look normal, sometimes even perfect, but behind closed doors, the reality is far darker. The constant manipulation, the emotional abuse, and the endless cycle of control quietly destroy confidence, drain energy, and leave deep scars on both the partner and the children. This video will take you into that hidden world. First, by exposing the real damage caused by being married to a narcissistic wife, and then by showing the steps needed to break free. Before diving in, this is a space built by Emotional Soulmate, a channel dedicated to helping people recognize narcissistic behavior and understand emotional abuse. Every video is designed to bring clarity, validation, and practical tools for recovery. If you have ever felt unseen, unheard, or trapped in the shadows of someone else's control, this channel exists for you. Stay with this video until the end, because the final sections will not only reveal the hidden traps of narcissistic relationships, but also empower you with clear strategies to rebuild your life. What you learn here could be the first step toward freedom, healing, and peace. The face of narcissism at home. When a spouse suffers from narcissistic personality traits or a full narcissistic disorder, the household becomes a stage where only one person is allowed to shine. Everything orbits around her needs, her moods, her image, her control. Love becomes conditional. Empathy turns absent, and every mistake becomes someone else's fault. Living in such an environment means experiencing a constant imbalance of power. Conversations do not exist to connect, but to dominate. Decisions are not made together, but imposed. The family becomes a mirror, reflecting her superiority, while everyone else shrinks into shadows. Over time, this transforms a partnership into a dictatorship, subtle at first, then overwhelming. The psychological toll on a husband. The husband of a narcissistic wife often becomes a shell of who he once was. Confidence erodes under endless criticism. The joy of companionship fades when every attempt to share feelings is twisted or dismissed. Self-doubt takes root, and soon the line between reality and manipulation blurs. The emotional toll is heavy. Anxiety becomes routine. Sleep is disturbed by worry. The smallest interaction feels like walking across thin ice, unsure of which word or gesture will trigger rage or cold withdrawal. Over months and years, this stress reshapes the nervous system, leaving exhaustion, depression, and sometimes even physical illness in its wake. The cruelest part is that this pain often remains invisible to the outside world. Friends may see a smiling couple, unaware of the battles fought at home. Silence and shame keep the victim isolated, further tightening the trap. The damage spreads to children. A narcissistic wife does not only harm her partner. Children growing up in such a household are deeply affected. They often become tools to serve her ego, pressured to excel, forced to perform, or silenced when their feelings do not fit her narrative. The child of a narcissistic mother learns early that love must be earned. Affection is not given freely, but traded for obedience or achievement. In this environment, children may grow up either crushed by insecurity or shaped into repeating narcissistic patterns themselves. Witnessing constant conflict between parents leaves scars. A child sees how one parent dominates and the other submits, teaching a distorted version of love and partnership. This cycle risks repeating itself across generations unless broken deliberately. The nature of the trap. Escaping a narcissistic marriage is not simple. It is not like walking away from ordinary disagreements or incompatibility. Narcissists excel at manipulation. They use guilt, fear, and obligation as chains. They rewrite history to make you doubt your memory. They twist words to make you feel like the villain. They charm outsiders into believing they are the victim, while you are the unstable one. This psychological web is why so many people remain trapped. You may question your judgment. You may fear what leaving will trigger. You may wonder if anyone will believe you. This is exactly how control is maintained, by weakening your ability to trust yourself. Understanding this trap is the first step toward freedom. Recognizing the tactics of manipulation gives you back some of the power stolen from you. Building boundaries as armor. Boundaries are not about fighting. They are about survival. When you live with a narcissistic wife, every day can feel like you are under attack. Words are used as weapons. Silence is used as punishment. Attention is given only when it benefits her. Without boundaries, you are left defenseless, absorbing every insult and every manipulation until nothing is left of you. Creating boundaries means deciding what you will no longer accept. It is saying to yourself, no more screaming matches late at night. No more taking blame for things that are not mine. No more being treated like a servant instead of a partner. Boundaries do not need to be spoken out loud all the time, because a narcissist will rarely respect them if you do. Instead, they need to be practiced. You create distance when conversations turn abusive. You walk away when provoked. You refuse to argue when she twists your words. At first, boundaries feel strange, almost unnatural, because you are used to giving in. But with practice, they become armor. Each time you hold a boundary, you take back a piece of your dignity. Each time you refuse to play her game, you weaken the control she has over you. Boundaries cannot change her behavior, but they protect your mind long enough for you to prepare for the next step. Preparing to leave safely. Leaving a narcissist without preparation can be dangerous. The moment she feels control slipping away, she will do whatever it takes to pull you back. Guilt, threats, tears, or even revenge. That is why preparation is not just smart, it is necessary. Start with money. If your finances are tied together, begin setting aside small amounts secretly. Open a private account if you can. Collect important papers, identification, bank information, legal documents, and keep them in a safe place where she cannot reach them. Money and documents are the foundation of independence, and without them, leaving becomes almost impossible. Next, rebuild your support system. Narcissists love to isolate their partners, cutting them off from friends and family, so they have no one to turn to. Begin reaching out to people you trust. Share your situation with at least 1 or 2 allies who will not betray your confidence. If you have no one close, consider support groups, both online and in person, where survivors of narcissistic abuse gather. These people understand exactly what you are facing and will remind you that you are not alone. Finally, gather evidence. Keep notes of incidents, screenshots of messages, or recordings if legal in your state or country. This is especially important if children are involved or if you expect legal disputes. Documentation is not about revenge. It is about protecting yourself and making sure the truth has proof when it is challenged. Every hidden step of preparation is a step toward safety. Think of it as packing for a long journey. You may not walk out tomorrow, but when the day comes, you will not leave empty-handed or vulnerable. The act of breaking free. The day you decide to leave is one of the hardest days of your life. It feels like stepping off a cliff into the unknown. Fear tells you to stay, to keep the peace, to avoid conflict. But freedom requires courage, and this moment is where everything begins to change. When breaking free, clarity is your shield. Narcissists thrive on confusion, endless arguments, and emotional hooks. Do not give her that power. Do not try to explain your reasons, because she will twist them. Do not stay for one last conversation, because it will drag you back into the cycle. Instead, be direct, be brief, and then act. The less opportunity for manipulation, the safer you are. If possible, involve professionals. Consult a lawyer before leaving so you know your rights. Arrange a safe place to go, whether it is a family member's home, a trusted friend, or even a shelter if necessary. Plan your exit for a time when she is least likely to interfere. If you feel physically unsafe, do not hesitate to involve law enforcement or domestic abuse hotlines. Breaking free is not only about leaving the house, it is about cutting the cords that keep you tied emotionally. It means blocking unnecessary communication, not responding to every message, not falling for sudden promises of change. Freedom is both physical and psychological, and both require discipline. Each step away from her grip may feel terrifying, but it is also the beginning of breathing freely again. After the escape, healing, and rebuilding. Walking out the door does not erase the pain. The wounds of narcissistic abuse run deep, and healing is not immediate. Many people feel lost after leaving. You may still hear her voice in your head, telling you that you are nothing without her. You may feel guilty for breaking up the family, even though you were never truly in one. You may even miss the chaos because it was familiar. This is the trauma bond, a twisted emotional tie that keeps victims connected to their abusers. Healing starts with acceptance. Accept that what happened to you was abuse. Accept that you were manipulated and that your pain is real. This is not weakness. This is survival. From there, therapy can help untangle the years of lies and rebuild the truth of who you are. If therapy is not accessible, journals, books on narcissistic abuse, and survivor communities can provide guidance and validation. Rebuilding means rediscovering yourself. Abuse strips away identity until you no longer remember what makes you happy. Now is the time to explore again. Return to hobbies that were once forbidden. Reconnect with friends who were pushed away. Try new experiences that remind you of your independence. Each step is not just healing, it is reclaiming life. Most importantly, remember that your worth does not depend on anyone else's approval. You are not defined by what she said about you. You are not defined by your past choices. You are defined by the strength it took to walk away and the courage it takes to keep moving forward. Protecting the next generation. If children are part of the story, your responsibility becomes even greater. Narcissistic mothers often use children as weapons, turning them against their fathers, using them to gather information, or manipulating them with guilt. This can be devastating for young minds who only want love and safety. The best defense for your children is your stability. Be the calm parent, the predictable parent, the parent who keeps promises. Do not badmouth their mother, even when she attacks you through them. Instead, show them through your actions what real love looks like, listening, caring, and respecting their feelings. Children learn by watching, and your example can undo much of the harm. Legal protections may be necessary. Custody arrangements, visitation schedules, and court documentation can reduce opportunities for manipulation. Keep records of everything related to your children. If she tries to twist the story, your evidence will protect both you and them. Children who grow up with at least one safe parent have a far better chance of healing and building healthy relationships in adulthood. Your courage to leave may not only save yourself, it may save them from repeating the same cycle in their future. Closing thoughts: from survival to freedom. Having a narcissist in your family is one of the most painful and complex challenges to face. It distorts the very meaning of family, replacing connection with control and love with conditions. But while their behavior may have shaped parts of your past, it does not have to define your future. You are not powerless in this story. By recognizing the truth, setting boundaries, seeking support, and choosing yourself, you begin to reclaim what was taken from you. Healing may not be immediate, but it is possible, and with each step, you move closer to freedom. The journey is not about changing the narcissist. It is about transforming your own life, turning survival into strength, silence into voice, and pain into resilience. And in doing so, you discover the kind of family that truly matters. One built not on control, but on love, respect, and authenticity. And as always, because YouTube's algorithm tends to favor videos with strong engagement, if you feel this video has brought you value, a simple like and a quick subscribe would mean so much. It not only helps this message reach more people who need it, but also ensures you will never miss the next video that could make a difference in your journey. Thanks all.